you so much for being with us. Thank you so much for being part of our foundation. And thanks for making such a huge difference in so many people's lives. Today, we're going to be talking about life as a game. Life is a game, and this is how you win. Life is definitely a game. Life is a game, and games are fun. Life is a game, and games are fun. Finance is a game, and games are fun. Business is a game, and games are fun. We turn it into a business. But the first thing that you need to understand is who you really are. You are a miracle. You are a miracle. It's not by happenstance that you're here on this earth. You just think about your children, your nieces, your nephews, those people that you love, that you hang out with. They're a miracle. And every one of you are a miracle. You were put on this earth for a purpose. You're put on this earth for a purpose to be able to. I'll just tell you some of my beliefs. I believe that there is a higher power. And I believe that we're all God's children. We're all brothers and sisters. And we all put on this earth to have experiences, good experiences, bad experiences, but to play the game of life. And you are a miracle. All you have to do is see it in your children. And you're probably too busy to recognize it with your children. So you got to look at it with your grandchildren. You are a miracle. You personally are a miracle. You know, my wife had an accident 2 nights ago, and she fell from some of our stairs and she broke her collarbone. And it's amazing as we got her to the hospital, into the emergency ward, as they took all these x-rays, and then as we met with the doctor yesterday, to see your physical body. You are a miracle. This body was just not, didn't crawl from under some rock or something. You are a child of God. You are a masterpiece. Your body has the ability to do amazing things. And that's because you are an amazing person. Now, you're put on this life to play the game of life. And play the game of life, you need to learn the rules. You need to learn the cheat codes. You need to learn how to make the system work. There's an old joke about a guy that was in a factory, and the factory machine broke down. So they called this repairman to come in. He comes in, he looks over the machine, looks up and down on it, pulls out his hammer and taps twice. And the machine starts up again. And he hands the guy the bill for $300. And the guy says, "This is outrageous. You only tapped on the machine twice. I want an itemized bill." So he gets him an itemized bill, and it says, "Tapping with hammer, $1. Knowing where to tap, $299. So the game of life, you are living the game of life. Now, why are you here? Why are you placed on this earth? Well, I believe it's to be able to get a physical body and to have the experiences of life. I've been all over the world. I've been to 50 countries. I've spent a lot of time in with all kinds of people with all kinds of religious beliefs. This isn't about religion, even though I believe that that's very helpful, massively helpful. It's about you being a spiritual being. You are a spiritual being. You were put on this earth for a reason. You're going to come into this world with nothing. You're going out with nothing except for the knowledge. Did you do good or bad? And did you help those along the way? You know, they say that when you die, you pull out your iPhone, you pull out your camera, and you look at all your pictures. And were your pictures good? Well, then you had a good life. If pictures are bad, well, maybe you didn't. Your job is to help other people. Now, how do you play this game? How do you play the game, and how do you win the game? Well, I play games with my 10-year-old twin granddaughters. And I'm 64. I'm turned 65 here in a couple of months. And guess what? They just kick my trash playing those games. Now, I should win. I'm older. I've got more life experience. But you know what? I don't know how to play that game. I don't know where the secrets are. We just went to Disneyland with our kids and grandkids, and we go through some of those rides, and like Buzz Lightyear, and everybody's got a little gun and they're shooting aliens and stuff like that. Well, I scored like 80,000 and my son's 450,000. Why? Because he knows where to shoot. He went on Google. He did some research and found out there's some special places that you can go that you can 3 times or 4 times or 5 times the points by simply knowing how to do it. You know, you watch a magician does all these amazing things and you're in awe, but you know what? There's no such thing as magic. There are systems, there are strategies, there are tools that this person uses to give you the illusion that something different is happening from your point of view. But when you go on the backside and watch over the magician's shoulder, you see how the trick is done. And then when you see how the trick is done, it's kind of like, oh, I get it. I understand how that trick is done. That's not quite as amazing as I thought it was. Money's a game and games are fun. Business is a game and games are fun. Life is a game and games are fun. Now, not all the time you're going to have fun. My wife is in serious pain. She's going to have surgery on Tuesday. She broke her collarbone and dislocated it. And so they're going to have to go in there and move that collarbone back to where it needs to go and then put some pins in into her sternum. And she's in a lot of pain, but for some reason, you know, you have to come to earth to experience all these things. Now, how does that help you? How does it help you where you're going? Well, first of all, you got to learn that life is a game and games are fun. Now, once you understand that, now the whole world changes of how you think about things. If life's a game, how do we play that game? Well, and how does the foundation help you to win that game? Well, one thing is that the foundation was created by best-selling authors, educators, and entrepreneurs. And this is a legacy project. I remember very distinctly being on an airplane. I think we were going to China or someplace with Robert Allen. I told him what I was going to do with the foundation. And he's all for that. He's a big supporter. Mark Victor Hansen, there's all kinds of people that are big supporters of what we're doing. And this is a legacy project. It's a legacy project. Because if you don't teach other people what you know, then you take those secrets to you to the grave. Well, then you didn't do what your job was. Your job is to be able to help other people, teach them the secrets so that they can have a better life. Because if you know the secrets, if you know the strategies, it can have a huge difference on you and your life. So one of the things we do at the foundation is that we have what our purpose is. Our purpose is to help you and those that you love, your family and friends, have a better life. That's the purpose. That's why we're here. Now, there's no such thing as a magic pill. Now, the magic pill make you feel a little bit better for a few minutes, but it's not fixing the problem. Our goal is to help you to learn the secrets and then be able to execute those secrets. Now, some of you have been dealt some pretty terrible cards. It's just fact. Some of you have been dealt some pretty horrible cards. But in the game of life, you can take those cards and you can trade them for better cards. If you're in a card game and you don't like your cards, guess what? You can go out and do some work. You can go do some studying. You can go start a small business. You can go help someone else. And every time you do that, you get to take the cards you don't like and you get to discard them and get new cards. In the game of life, you can win. And usually the people that win big are the ones that started out with nothing and learned how to play the game. They say there's a quote that from shirt sleeves to shirt sleeves in 3 generations, that the one person makes it, the next person, the son or the next generation is able to improve it. And then the 3rd generation usually spends it. And then the 4th generation is starting all over again. Why? Because they didn't learn the game. They didn't learn how to play the game. And they weren't playing the game. They were just spending all the spoils. So in order to be successful, the first thing you got to do is you need to take advantage of the foundation and what we do. Now, if you only have 30 days to really change your life, here's the things we teach you what to do. Number 1, and it's really all in the 5 steps. And we take the 5 steps to financial freedom. 5 steps, 5 success and money steps to financial freedom. Number 1 is you need to learn how to make more money. The way you make more money is by studying successful people and then do what they do. They say life is, you're in a theater. Life is a big stage, and all of us are just simply actors. Well, go act like they do. Now, may not be in a big movie, but it doesn't matter. You're still acting. Act like they do and become what they are. That's key. That's crucial. Be like them. That's what I've done. As I was growing up, I'd say, I really like what Bob Allen teaches and how he thinks and how he walks, how he talks. And I tried to mimic that. And I tried to become that. And you take all these people that you study and you say, I would like to do more of that. The foundation was really crafted after Paul Newman and Newman's Own. He was a very famous actor, and he created a company that sold food products. And he wanted to give it to those that needed help. And over the years, that organization's donated $500 million, $500 million to different charities all over the world. He's made a huge difference. The foundation was designed and created similar to that. Not so much that we're selling anything, but we are delivering and helping other people. So that's part of the model. So in order to be successful, you have to study successful people and then do what they do. There's all kinds of models of bad people. We'll study the successful people and then think like they do. Do what they do. Become that. You need to add value. You need to be more valuable than the next guy. And the difference between first and second is really, really tiny. I've been to the Olympics multiple times. I watched Usain Bolt run, and the difference between first and second place isn't very much. It's less than a second, but all the spoils go to the first place. So you need to learn how these guys have done that. You need to learn how to solve bigger problems. How do you simplify? So when you go to a store, you go to McDonald's, you go to any of these places, you need to look at them and say, well, how did they do what they do? How are they doing what they're doing? And how can I replicate that? And how can I take those systems and put them in my own world? So you're always watching other people, and you're not going to go just simply go copy other people of what they're doing. You're going to look at their model and say, well, this is how they're doing it. And once you understand that model, then you can say, well, how can I use that in my world? How can I use that in my small business? How can I use that in my career? How can I use that in my job? How can I solve bigger problems, and how can I add more value? Now, if you want to study successful people, you simply go to the successandmoneyfoundation.org. We have hundreds of classes on there that you can study. You need to study successful people, and our job is to get you to the next step and then to the next step. That's how you do it. Number two is you need to separate your time, your energy, and your money. Now, step number two is to separate those things. You got to separate them into two or three different things. Now, on the money side and the spiritual side, step number three is to give and help those in need, help other people. You can do that with individuals. You can do that with churches. You can do that with charities. You can do that with all three of those things. And it doesn't matter how much it is. It just matters that you're doing it. And when you give, it's a spiritual law. It's a business law too. If you want to work with wonderful people and great people, then you simply find people that are really giving and making a big difference. And you're going to find that the most successful people, now not what you might see on TV or hear about or think that they are because you saw them on social media. You've heard the term, a big hat, no cattle. This guy looks like a cowboy, but he doesn't own anything. If you give, you get. If you give, you get. Zig Ziglar said it best. The only way you can get what you want out of life is to help other people get what they want out of life. If you'll help other people get what they want out of life, then naturally it will happen back for you. I'm just amazed at the outpouring of support that we've received since my wife had her accident. And people are coming out of the woodwork to help us and to show concern and support. Why? Because we're helping others. And when you help others, that's how you win. Spiritual law, business law, it's all the same. Number four, you need to start long-term investing. Now, when we talk about investing, Warren Buffett reads 5 to 6 hours a day. And it's compounding. It's compounding his knowledge. There's compound interest, there's compound money, and there's compound knowledge and experience. And the more that you do that, the faster that you can compound and double the results. And that's what he's been doing. And he's going to be 94 in August. My dad's 4 days older than Warren. I had a mini Warren Buffett that taught me about these things. But compound your money, compound your knowledge, compound your experience. So number 4 is to automatically invest. Automatically invest in what? In yourself. You are the tip of the sword. And the more that you can do things that are positive, that you can make a huge difference in other people's lives, it will come back to you. You're compounding your knowledge, you're compounding your experience. Some people say, well, I've had the same job for 10 years. Well, you've had the same experience for 10 years. Your job is to be thrown out into the deep end and go figure out how to make it work. You solve bigger problems. And as you do that, you invest. You're investing in yourself. You're learning these things. You're investing your money, and your money's going to grow. As your money grows, it compounds. And there's got to be simple rules for you to be able to do that. It had to invest. In the real world with investments, so much noise about investing. Well, there's only 4 ways that you can invest. Number 1 is to pick and choose when you pick and choose stocks. I don't recommend it. You pick and choose, you lose. Number 2 is you can pay someone, a mutual fund. Number 3 is just buy the 500 biggest companies in America, the S&P 500. The stock symbol is SPY, SPY. They're the 500 biggest. And you can do Berkshire Hathaway and Warren Buffett. We love Warren Buffett and Berkshire Hathaway, and so that's why we're giving you that stock. We're giving you our stock so that you can plant your own money tree. Now, once we've got you started, it's your job to figure out how to water it. It's your job to figure out how to take care of it. It's your job to plant more money trees and to grow a whole orchard. Now, is your orchard going to be massive money overnight? No, we don't want it to be. We want our money trees to grow with deep roots. If you really look at a tree, the goal is to have a deep root system. So when the wind blows, it doesn't blow over. If you're built with deep foundations, then you can withstand bad times. And when bad times happen, you have the ability to take advantage of those. So we want to create a whole orchard of money trees. And money trees, if you want really, really strong ones, take a while to build because they produce fruit every year. That's the key. Now, number 5, the 5th thing you got to do is you've got to figure out how to save for a rainy day and figure out how to allocate your money. Your money is your tool. Your goal is to get as much money into step number 4 as possible. And then let it grow and let it compound. And teach this to your kids. Help your kids do it. Open up an investment account for your kids. I was a teenager when I had my first investment account. I was just a teenager. It doesn't matter if it makes money or if it makes a whole bunch of money or whatever. What matters is that I was learning. I was taking my money and I was investing it as a teenager. And my dad taught me how to do that. But more importantly, we did it. We did it together. We pulled the trigger. And I was investing as a teenager. So now think of all those compound things that I've learned over the time. And some of the things I learned, I used in our other businesses, things I learned from my dad that we replicated. We just added zeros to it. And it made a huge difference. So those are the 5 things you've got to do if you're going to be successful. You've got to learn how to study successful people and do what they do. Study successful people and do what they do. Add more value. Solve bigger problems. Look for problems. Look for problems. Most people run away from problems. If you want to make money, if you want to have a better life, you need to search out problems. And because problems are a game and games are fun. And somebody's figured out how to solve that problem. I can guarantee you. Somebody else has already figured it out. And now with the advent of the internet, you have the ability to go search out people all over the world that have solved that same problem. Solve bigger problems. Separate your time, separate your energy, separate your money into three areas. One, to give, to help other people. Two, your long-term investments, investments in yourself. You are the cutting edge. You are the one that is the most important piece. You know, when we say invest in yourself, how do you do that? You learn, you study, you continue to go to classes. Do I need to go to classes? Do I need to read success books and money books? No. But do I? Absolutely. And you know what? And I may not learn something new that day, but it might trigger something in my head like, you know what? I really need to do more of this one thing. I've already got this going. How do I do more of this one thing? And then you got to allocate your money. You got to allocate your time. You got to allocate your resources. And if you'll do those things, then you just repeat. You repeat, you repeat, you grow, you add more and more and more. And you get more into step number 4, the automatically invest, the automatically learning. You're driving to work, you should be listening to classes on the successmoneyfoundation.org. These are wonderful classes by best-selling authors, educators, and entrepreneurs that have been there, that have played the game. They know how to win the game. And if you will play it like they play, you'll win. Now you're still going to lose. Now, if you're not losing, you're not playing hard enough. If all you're doing is winning, you're probably not pushing the envelope hard enough. You've got to do both. You've got to do both. You've got to do both. And the faster you lose and how you learn from it. If you're going to flip a coin, you're going to lose 50% of the time. But if I said your goal is to get 10 heads, flip the coin. Well, you probably need to go flip it 20 times. But you know what? You may have to flip it 25 times. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter your loss ratio. It just matters how many times you flip it and how do you get to that 10. The best baseball players in the world, they lose when they're batting 6 or 7 times every time they bat. They don't get on base. But if somebody does wins 4 out of the 10 times, they are an incredible player. If they're in the 3 times, they're an incredible player. This is how you win the game. This is how you win the game, and you are all playing the game. So let's play the game of life. Life's a game, and games are fun. Life is a game, and there are rules to the game. There are cheat sheets, there are codes. Standing in line, going to play the Toy Story game with the kids and the grandkids. My son's pulled out his phone, and he's looking at the cheat sheet. Now, it's not really a cheat sheet. It's really, how do you play? How do you win? Somebody else has learned how to win, and he's figuring that out. He's learning from them. He's not learning on his own. He's trying to learn from somebody else. How do they do it? How do they make it work? That's what your job is to do. And your most important job is to teach those you love. That's why you're here. Your job is to be a good parent. Good parents give their kids good memories. Bad parents give their kids bad memories. That's the quote by Robert Allen. Your job is to give your children, your loved ones, your nieces, your nephews, those that you love, access to these codes that can help you win. The combination of the lock, the recipe to the cake. That's your job. And then cheer them on. Help them. Put your arm around them. Get them started. Get them going. One of the reasons we do the Share the Wealth and Win is because when we know that when people watch that first video, and if they'll watch that first video, the odds of them continuing to go through more and more classes goes up dramatically. We have students that jump in there. Our average student spends about 10 hours online. That's the average. We have students that have been online for 350 hours. We have a lot of students that are 0. Why? Because we didn't get them over that first hump. We didn't take them and help them execute that first thing. And what we're doing now is that we know when people watch that Share the Wealth and Win, we're giving you Berkshire Hathaway stock. Now, why are we doing Berkshire Hathaway stock? Because it's the hardest thing that most adults will do is to start saving and investing because they're afraid of it. They're scared of it. They don't know what to do with it. Well, investing is a game, so games are fun. And we're changing the rules. We're not going to pick and choose. We're not going to do mutual funds. We're just going to invest in the 500 biggest companies in America or Berkshire Hathaway. I love just putting in Warren Buffett, Berkshire Hathaway. That's why we're giving you our stock. We can give you cash and prizes, but that doesn't solve your biggest problem. The biggest problem that people have is starting to save and invest, mostly invest for the long term and getting your money working for you, getting your time, getting your energy, getting all these things to work for you. That's why we're giving you stock. Now, when you go through the earn while you learn, the 5 steps, you can earn another chunk of money. You can earn $20 just by simply going through the Share the Wealth and Win and the Earn While You Learn classes. And we're gonna send you our Warren Buffett stock, because that's the hardest thing for most people to do, is to do that one thing. That's the hardest thing. So let's go tackle that thing. Let's make that happen. And all of you can earn stock by simply doing that. And if you'll do that one thing, if you'll teach your kids that one thing, and not only teach them, but have them do it. You know, so many parents are afraid to talk to their children about finances. Well, you need to teach them how to win. Teach them how to win. Open up that investment account. Put money into that investment account. Now, when you do, it changes your world. It changes how you think about things. When you do that, it changes how you think about things. You're now thinking like a businessman. You're thinking about like an entrepreneur. You're thinking about and studying people like Elon Musk and Tony Robbins and Bill Gates and Warren Buffett and successful people. The one thing that I know about successful people, that if you ask them, they'll talk to you. Now, you might have to jump through a few hoops to get to them, but that's part of the game. But if you'll do that one thing, that's what I've always found, is that successful people want to help other people, because they know that as they help other people, that helps them. So that's the key. That's why you're here. You're all put on this earth to play the game of life. But life's going to throw you curveballs. Life is going to be joyful. Life can be painful. But you're here for a reason. You just didn't crawl out from underneath some rock. You know, you have a higher being. You are a higher being. And you were placed on this earth to live that life. So go live that life. Play the game. Have fun with the game. And the more people you can help, the faster and the better that you can win the game. And then when it's time for you to check out, you're going to pull out your phone, you're going to look at all your memories. If those memories are good, you had a wonderful life. If they weren't, well, you got to work on that. So this has been Tom Painter. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being part of our organization. Thank you for sharing the wealth of free success in my classes for anyone, anywhere. This is about the only way that I know that we can really make a huge difference in people's lives, is to educate and motivate, help execute, get people on that path. And you're going to fall off the path, but there's an iron rod somewhere, and we're going to give you a rope to that rod. And if you'll follow it, you'll follow that trail, you'll follow that path, you can get where other people have got. And your job is to have a better life, and your job is to help those you love. Your children, your nieces, your nephews, the people you work with, friends, to have a better life. That's our purpose in the foundation, and that's your purpose. Your purpose is to help those you love to have a better life. And your job is to move them up a notch, move them up a level, move them up a level, move them up a level. There's no such thing as a magic pill that's just going to solve it all for you. Your job is to grow money trees. Your job is to grow a wonderful life with good footing and a great root system. And then it can grow big, and then it can produce a lot of fruit, and it can benefit so many people. That's why we're here, and that's what we do. And I'm so thankful for every one of you. You're the ones making this work. You're the ones that are sharing the wealth and helping other people. That's why we created the leaderboard. So when you enroll somebody, they're part of your group. Your job then is to cheer them on, help them, execute them, help them go to the next level. I was talking to my doctor yesterday, and we had a nice chat about all kinds of things. And the one thing is that they're doing pretty good, but the real goal is for them to help their kids, their nieces, their nephews, to other people. That's how we designed the system, and that's how we designed it to help everyone. So this is Tom Painter. Thank you so much for making a difference. Thank you so much for being part of our foundation. Thank you so much for sharing with others.